Hi, today I have a lovely little practice for you which is designed to hopefully ease any lower back pain that you have. I see a lot of people coming in with lower back pain either because they've got tight hips, maybe they're carrying a bit more weight than they should be for their body type, or maybe they've got a herniation in their disc somewhere. So it's really important that we look after our bodies, and the back, unfortunately, seems to be something that affects a huge majority of the population, mostly due to sitting in seats. So if you can get on the floor as much as you can, just try and sit on the floor, even if it's just a few minutes a day. Watch TV on the floor, read your books on the floor. Don't stay there until you're super uncomfortable, come up when you need to, but if you can get on the floor, it's actually going to help loosen those hips, open them up, and maybe take a trip to Asia and hang out on the floor with some of the locals there. It's just such an effective way for our body to be. However, if you need to do some of these practices in the seat, in a chair, you can absolutely do the first breathing portion of it in a chair, if that feels more comfortable for you. The main tenet of yoga is Stiram Sukham Asanam, stable and comfortable seat. So whatever you're doing, if it doesn't feel comfortable, if you don't feel secure and stable in there, then you need to find a variation. And the good news is there is always a variation for your practice. So let us get started. You're going to need a strap for this practice, and you could use a towel, a belt, a scarf, whatever is long and can hold your legs. A block. You could have a fat book or, I don't know, anything that's kind of blockish. Just a big fat book, a big dictionary. I don't know if people have those anymore, but if you've got one of those, awesome. Otherwise, if you've got a block, a foam one or a cork one, grab that. And maybe a bolster or a cushion or a pillow. They're always awesome and handy to have as well. But we're really going to be working a little bit with the block and the strap. And you know what? If you don't have those things, it's all good. But I'll just give you a moment to go and grab them now, or you can just press pause and we will get started. Also, actually, if you need to start in a seat, have your seat nearby. And if you can practice near a wall or something, a door, anything that's going to allow you to get your legs up there, find a space where you can do that as well. So maybe bring me with you on your phone and let us begin. We're going to find a nice comfortable seat. For some people, sitting in a nice cross-legged position is super comfy. If you happen to be a little bit tight in the hamstrings and the lower back area, and let's face it, if you're here watching this video, you probably are, you might find that you end up curling a little bit because of the tightness. Having a block or a cushion or a bolster to sit yourself up on the edge of it will just help give you that ease that you need in your hips to drop and lower that pelvis forward. So this is actually just a bolster cover that I filled with a blanket. So, a pillowcase, whatever you've got, be creative. You don't need the fancy stuff to do any kind of exercise, let alone yoga. If this seat is not good for you, then you could try sitting with your legs stretched out. Same deal applies though. If you're stretching your legs out, especially if you're rounded in the back, then sitting on something a little bit higher to help you just lower the pelvis will give you more access into the back and a little bit more comfort as well. And last but not least, my favorite is actually sitting in hero's pose, Vajrasana, and that's being on our knees. This can be super uncomfy for people initially, but it's really therapeutic. It's an amazing place to be, to have length in your spine. If you have tightness in the back of the knees or in the knee area, you can always open up that space with a strap or a blanket tucked under there just to give your knee more space. If Just sitting like that is just not very beneficial for you. You can sit on a block as well. Have the feet stretched. I have a student who's comfortable sitting with her feet out like that and her hips rotate internally. If that works for you, you sit here and that's comfy, then that's your place to be. Don't worry about what anyone else in the room is doing. For me, it's comfortable to have my legs, my ankles flat to the floor. But you know, yoga is all about discovering what works for your body. You can also have the block straight. You can have your knees together, whatever works for you. So let's just find a nice comfortable seat. And I'll use this block because it's actually feeling pretty good. Find a place that allows you to find length through your spine. Close your eyes. We're going to tune into our breath. The breath really is the most important thing out of everything we do. If you just sat quietly for a few minutes a day, just being still and breathing, the benefits for your body are just amazing. You'll actually lose weight, believe it or not, sitting still and breathing properly, that is. You will de-stress, your nervous system will relax, which will actually soften those muscles that might be holding that tightness and that tension in your body. Your body gets to heal and repair. There are just so many benefits to finding that quiet space and breathing. Don't forget to breathe. So, with that, let's quietly find that space. And I want you, if you can, to breathe in and out through your nose. If you can't, that's okay. If you've got some sinuses issues going on today, the mouth is perfectly acceptable. But we breathe in and out through our nose because it is our natural filtration system. Just notice where your breath is to begin with. You might notice that breath up in the chest area. You might notice it down in the abdomen. You might notice a mix of both. Nothing is wrong or right. We're just noticing. We're just being with our body. We're being with ourselves right now. And we're learning to just fall in love with who we are because we're pretty cool. And now I want you, if the breath is not down in the abdomen, and that means that we've brought it down to the base of our lungs and our diaphragm is expanding. I want you to bring it down there now. As you inhale, try and get a sense of your abdomen expanding. And as you exhale, just let it gently draw back to the spine. Notice how that feels. Notice the strength that comes into the body as the breath leaves and that belly moves to the spine. Your core is suddenly becoming more accessible to you. Inhale, expanding, exhale, releasing. Just for a few moments, sit in silence and just savor that breath. With the sense of that breath, I want you now to shift the breath to the rib cage. So if you are comfortable bringing your hands up to the rib cage, ladies, that's about where your bra strap would be. Gentlemen, it's about where the ladies' bra straps would be. But lower rib cage area, you want to be able to feel the ribs. It doesn't have to be super high. And if you want to come into the front, you can, but you won't really feel the expansion through the sides. I want you to inhale. Feel the ribcage sort of pull apart and exhale, let it come back into center. Inhale, feel that expansion. Exhale, let it come back in. Inhaling, expand. Exhaling, allow it to come back in. Inhale, expand. Exhale, bring it back in. And let's just release that, come back to the abdominal breath. In and out through the nose, and if you want to, you can explore Ujjayi breath, which is a nice heated breath, great for weight loss as well, great to bring focus, concentration, and stamina into the body. And all we're doing is we're just constricting the back of the throat a little bit. That's probably why you can hear my breath right now as I breathe. There's just a slight constriction. It's nice and easy. As you inhale, you feel that breath. As you exhale, you feel that breath. And it really helps to just soothe the nervous system, soothe the systems in the body. It just takes you into that place of calm, that place of focus, and it really connects the mind, body, and spirit together. So we can try that. It's kind of like you're trying to whisper to someone across the room, but you're doing it through your nose. You can allow the breath to begin in the belly, move up to the chest, release from the chest, release from the belly. And if your eyes are closed, just gently open your eyes. Notice how you feel. A little calmer, a little more relaxed. Completely at ease and peace like my kitty cat here. We should learn to embody that ease and that relaxation that our cats have, and that being in the moment that our pets definitely are at all the time. Alright, let's begin the asana portion, the stretching portion of our class. I'm just going to remove this block away. And the other one. You can stay there on the blocks because we're staying in the seated position. Again, if you feel uncomfortable, get up, stretch around, move around, find another seat that works, explore with those different seat options that we talked about at the start. And inhale, reach those arms up. Let's just stretch up. We're going to bring those arms all the way up to our face. If you can, we're lengthening and elongating that spine. Now, be mindful here that when you bring those hands up, it's really easy just to kind of collapse into the lumbar spine and let the chest press out. We don't want to do that. Draw the rib cage to the back of the body. Breathe into the back of the heart. Feel the belly come in as you exhale. Let's take the hands down just to release. And inhale, let's come up this time. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, drop the rib cage down, and that's just going to help you not move deeply into that lumbar area. So soften the rib cage towards your hips, but don't collapse the chest. The chest is still proud. And exhale. If you find that even just bringing your hands overhead and clasping those fingers a little bit difficult, a strap is awesome, because we're also going to work our upper back here as well. So grab those straps if you want to, reach up, soften the rib cage. That's something you have to just remind yourself of constantly. This might be uncomfortable. Your arms might only come to here. It's all good. Just work with the body you have. Exhale. Let's do that again. Use the strap, or you can use your hands. Inhale. Drop the rib cage as those arms come up, because you know it's going to want to poke out. Exhale. I think I said one more time before, but one more time. Inhale. And drop that rib cage. Exhale all the way down. Release the strap. Let's roll the shoulders out. I know you're going, this isn't about my lower back. Our body is completely connected. So what affects one thing may affect the other. And so let's just give some attention to our upper back as well, so it can get nice and open and supple. Roll out the shoulders the other way. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. And then let's roll them back and down. Awesome. Sectional breathing. Interlace the fingers, bring them to your heart. You can always change the position you're sitting in if it's getting a little bit challenging. It is hard to sit on the floor if you're not used to doing it. But over time, you'll love it. Inhale. Extend the arms out in front. Stretch out. What we're going to do here as well is press into the back of the body. So accessing those back muscles. Let's work them, get them strong. And release. Exhale. Inhale, extend face height. And we'll just press a little bit here, not too much, just to explore it. And release. Exhaling. Inhale, overhead. Drop the rib cage now. Reach up through the hands. Find length through your spine, right up through the crown of the head. The neck is nice and easy. Exhale to the heart. Again, straight up. Inhale, take it up. Drop that rib cage down. Exhale. Out from the face height. Inhale. Gaze at your hands, press back through the shoulders a little bit. Exhale to the heart. Straight up. Inhaling, press back. Open up the back with those shoulders. Exhale. Yeah, feels good. Shake it out. Release it out. Nice easy twist. Now for some people, especially if you've got bulging discs and things in the back of the body there, twists may not be that comfortable. So if they're not, don't do them. But for other people, they feel really good. So everyone, of course, you're completely unique. You're completely individual. Work with what works for you. Tune into your body. Get to know your body. Listen to your body. Your body will tell you what it needs. Listen to the whispers. Don't wait for it to scream. That's why we're here right now, because it's been screaming at you. So now try and tune into that quiet voice of your body and see how it feels. Listen to your body, not your ego, because there may be some lies telling you that you can't do this. Try it. If you can, do it. And maybe you can't do it today, but tomorrow you can. So don't just not do something forever if you can't do it today. Just slowly, slowly, slowly train your body into it. Inhale, bringing your right hand across to your left leg. Lift and lengthen through the spine. Soften that rib cage. We want to keep our hips facing forward, and we're going to use the twist from the center of the spine. We're not going to wrench through the hip area. And it doesn't matter how far you go. As you exhale, rotate. Maybe gazing behind you, maybe gazing straight in front. Working our neck muscles as well, because some people have weak neck muscles. Believe it or not, sounds really weird because our head is super heavy. But there you have it. Drop those shoulders down a little bit if you can. Keep the ribs in and down so you're not curving into that lumbar spine artificially. Breathe, keep that breath going. And then gently surrender. Ah, feels good. Over to the other side. Lift and lengthen. Inhale. We lift and lengthen. It gives us space through the center, which allows us to rotate a little deeper. But just a little at a time. Each exhalation can take you there. Each inhalation, find that length. Each exhalation, explore maybe a little bit more twist, or maybe just hang where you are and breathe. Gazing back if that feels comfortable, feeling that stretch down this big neck muscle, the sternocleidomastoid. I think that's what it's called. It's a good name. And then release back to center. Roll it out. Find some ease, some comfort. Releasing out those shoulders. Alright, now we're going to make it onto our backs, release ourselves from this seated position that we've been in. So lying on your back, keep your knees bent, make your way down nice and comfortably. So in any yoga class, if you're experiencing any kind of back discomfort, knees bent will help ease it out. And we'll talk about more of how you can come into Shavasana when we get to Shavasana. But right now, let's just lie down here. Knees are bent. Take notice of how the body feels. Some deep breaths in and out. Let the shoulders flatten to the floor. Notice that natural lumbar curve in the back of the body. I can kind of get my hand back there. We just want our spine to curve naturally. We don't want to press our back into the floor. We're not doing crunches. So just release and relax for a moment. And then we're going to draw your right knee towards your chest. Now, if you can't do that, for whatever reason, a strap is your best friend. So you can place that strap behind the thigh and just grab hold of it, or your towel, whatever it is, and then help yourself along. Draw that strap towards you. Squeeze it in and release. Inhale. Exhale in. Feel how that flattens your lumbar curve. Inhale, let the curve come back. Exhale, squeeze the air out. Inhale, let the curve come back in. One more, exhale. And release. Release the strap, maybe strap up that other leg. I'll do this one without it just in case you're following along without a strap. So you can hold on to the back of the leg there. If you can reach it. Big breath in. Exhale, draw it in, draw it towards your body. Feel how that left side of the body contacts the ground. Keep the knee towards you rather than rolling out and opening. Keep it in and release. And obviously the foot's not going to come down because we're holding it now. Deep breath in. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Release that out. If it's comfortable to just stretch those legs out for a moment, shake it out. All right. We're going to work on our psoas muscle. The psoas is the muscle that connects the upper body to the lower body. So you may need a block for this one. Well, actually, you do need a block for this one, or a big fat book, bolster, cushion, whatever you've got available. Placing it underneath your hips. And so we don't want that block to come into the low back because we want to allow the low back to drop to the floor. Our knees are bent. The block is more to the end of our butt, and it's nicely supported on your sacrum, which is that nice flat bony part at the bottom of your spine. Keeping your right leg bent, release your left leg to the ground and release your body to the ground. For some people, you won't feel anything. For others, you're going to feel some tightness, maybe around this hip flexor, maybe in your back. Psoas muscle connects at our lumbar spine. It rolls around the top of our pelvis, and it connects into the small attachment at the top of our femur there. So it's a pretty cool muscle, and it's a pretty important one. People either have tightness or loose, weak psoas. Some people have a combination of both. It's not always even on both sides. Our body's never even. So just notice how that feels for you right now. Oh, my cat's going for it. This is Ellie, by the way. She's my little joy. Bringer of joy and love, Ellie cat. Just allow the whole body to surrender down. Let that lumbar spine release to the floor. Try and soften it down, even if it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. The simple art of surrendering is going to allow your whole lymphatic system to be more effective, your whole hormonal system to reset and be more effective. Your central nervous system has been set into the parasympathetic mode of rest and digest as opposed to fight or flight, which unfortunately in this modern era we tend to be in all the time, and the body's not designed to be there. Hence the tightness in the body, and the body yelling at us saying, hey, chill out. Let's just chill. I'm just going to stop talking for a while. Just relax into it. Let that body soften down. Keep working to release through the low back. And then bring that leg back up. Deep breath in. Let's sigh it out. Release the right leg. And soften it down. Now, if at any point this just feels uncomfortable, just release the block. Rest down for a moment. So try and stay here. If you have spare time during the day, any day, every day, especially if you're feeling that there is tightness here, you want to practice this daily. Maybe just rest here for 15 minutes on each side if you can. Otherwise, 5 to 10 minutes. Just allow your body to soften and allow that psoas to weaken, to lengthen, not weaken. If you sit a lot, then you may have those tight psoas muscles, tight hip flexors. If you run a lot, you may have tight hamstrings, tight hips, tight calf muscles. If you cycle a lot, you may have tight quads, which leads to sore knees. There's just so many things that can go wrong in our body. The good news is there's a lot of different ways to put it right. Let's take a deep breath in, exhale. Let the lower back come down. Just breathe yourself down into your practice. Bring your thoughts in. And just be with yourself. Be with the sensations in the body. Notice what's happening for you right now. Stay present. Don't wander off and go to sleep. Just stay with the breath, noticing that rise and fall of the belly. Noticing if you're holding tension, if you're trying to clench your buttocks or you're holding your low back up and your chest is poking out, and just try and soften it down. It's okay if it's not working out the way you want it to. It's okay. Accept it. Acknowledge it. And once the body feels acknowledged, it then does what it's supposed to do. Release. It's very easy for us to bring that tension into that straight leg and try and hold ourselves up so that we're comfortable, but allow yourself to soften and find the comfort. Or breathe into the challenge. As long as there's no sharp shooting pains, it's all good. The challenge is what we're seeking. We're not seeking to push past our boundaries and our limits. We're just seeking to find out where they are. And then we're looking to accept those and work within our own limits. All right, let us bring that leg back up. This is going to be tough, but release the block and soften your body down to the floor nice and slowly. You can straighten out the legs if you want to. Roll them out. Okay, notice if your thighs are touching the floor. If you feel a little bit more freedom in your back, how does that feel? Maybe you didn't do that with us. Maybe you just hung out in Shavasana. That's all good. Wiggle out those toes. All right. And let's bring those knees back up. We're going to do a little bit more active movement now. So we're just going to do a little bit of pelvic tilts, just tilting your pelvic floor forward, pelvis, I should say, and then rolling it back. Just to warm up that back again, because it's just been sitting in that position for so long. So tilting forward, roll it back. Incidentally, also good for your pelvic floor muscles. Tilt it forward, roll the pelvis forward. And release. Keep breathing. You can exhale and roll the pelvis towards you if you want. Inhale, roll it away. Exhale. If this feels good for you, and in a moment when we come into bridge, and if that doesn't feel so good, then you can continue to do this. Alright, just one more. And release that out. If releasing your left leg to the ground feels comfortable and hugging your right knee in feels alright, and you can do this with a strap as well to give you access to your body. Go ahead and do that, otherwise keeping that left leg bent is all good. Little crunch here. This is to activate the digestive juices. It's also good for your back, and it's good for discovering the core strength and creating some fire in your belly. It's called the wind releasing pose. So if you happen to release some wind, it's all good. It's part of the pose. Let's squeeze that leg in. Use your strap if you need it. Otherwise, just hug your knee in towards you. Deep breath in. Exhale, draw your body up. Now try not to strain the neck. It doesn't matter how high you come. If you can come super high, awesome. You've got good access to your core muscles. If you haven't quite discovered your core yet, we will get there over time. Hold the breath out. Inhale, come down. Exhale, try and draw up through this part of the body. Try not to wrench your neck up and nose towards the knee. That's gonna do you a huge disservice in those neck muscles, especially if you've got weak neck muscles. So make sure that's comfortable. Hello, pussykins. Inhale, come down. Exhale, squeeze up. Hold the breath out. If you've got that leg straight, make sure that that is activated to the floor there. And release down. Inhale. Got some fire in that belly now. Let's release the leg. Get out. Other side. Hug your left knee in. Maybe have that right knee bent. Depends on what is good for your back right now. Hug it in. Deep breath in. Exhale. Roll up. Don't worry if it's not super high. It doesn't matter. The key is that you are honoring your body and you are doing your practice. Inhale, come down. Exhale, come up. Inhale, come down. Exhale, feeling the belly burn. That's our core. Yeah, love the core. And then come on down. Whew. Release the legs, shake it out. Alrighty. It's all good. You can rub the belly out if it needs to. Let's go ahead, bend our knees back into that bridge position. Hands down by our sides because we are going to do some bridge now. Hands are down by our sides close to our body to support our body here. If you're not quite ready to do full bridgey type of stuff, the block comes in handy. You can do a supported bridge just like we did before, having that block underneath the hips. It doesn't have to be as low as it was before. You can hang here. And then you can gently step the block up if that feels good for you. What's the max big one? But if you want to join us in a little bit of activity, let's begin. Press through the feet. Breathe the hips up Try to spiral the inner thighs to the floor, the outer thighs to the sky. That means our knees, our hips, our knees, and our ankles are all in good alignment. Keep your head centered the whole time. Exhale. So maybe if this is the first time doing this, just watch me first and then rewind back and do it with me in a moment, because I don't want you to keep on turning your head to the side. We want our head to stay centered. Press and rise. And just come up as far as it feels comfortable. Now your chest is going to move to your chin. Just slightly move the chin away, just slightly, to find length in the back of the neck. And come on down. If for whatever reason you're feeling that doesn't feel good for your neck, just grab a big blanket, a big towel, place it under your shoulders with the towel just cradling the neck slightly. Yeah? Okay, inhale, come up. I don't have a blanket right now, otherwise I would have totally shown you that. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come up. Remember, press down through the heels, spiral the inner thighs down. Exhale, down. We're going to swap the breath now. Deep breath in. Exhale, come up. Inhale, down. Exhale, come up. Inhale, down. One more. Exhale it up. Inhale it down. And release. If it's comfortable to draw the knees in, go ahead, hug them in. If that's not so good for you, drop the soles of the feet together and knees out wide, coming into a reclined butterfly position. Just for a few moments, just letting the natural curves come into the spine. Perfect. Bring those knees up, roll to your side, bring yourself up to what I like to call tabletop position. I didn't make that name up, by the way. So we're going to stack our wrists underneath our shoulders, our knees underneath our hips. And let's just warm the wrists up, because if you're not used to a normal asana yoga practice, the wrists are going to be a little weak, and it takes a while for them to build that strength. So let's just check in with them, see how they're doing. Yeah, good. All right, warm them up a little bit more. So maybe sit back onto your heels into hero's pose. If that's no good, just come up a little higher. And let's just grab the wrists, squeeze them out. Squeeze them out, squeeze them out. It's really important to warm up those wrists. So roll out, figure eights. This one I love doing, but the first time it's a total mind game. So I think about rolling figure eights, seeing my fingers, they go away, see my other fingers, there they are, do, ha, ha. So one way, it's like, I got it, roll back the other way. Let's get our mind active. We're going to need it for our sunbirds. Coordination and all of that stuff. All right, awesome. Shake it out. Shake it out. Come back to that tabletop position. Stacking those wrists underneath your shoulders. Wrists are shoulder width apart, so we're not super wide there because that's pretty unstable. We want to be able to stack our bones so we've got that strength like a flagpole, standing tall and proud. Knees underneath our hips. To warm up our spine, moving into cat stretch. I love this stretch. Let the tail tuck. Allow the chin to move towards your chest. And as you inhale, lifting from the tail and pressing up through those hands. Press through the hands, press through the knees or the feet. Exhale, round, allow the chin to tuck. Inhale, leading from the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. Expand open through the chest. Now don't reach your head back here, look for length. Exhale. Inhale. Try not to collapse through the arms. Try and hold your weight. Pressing up through the upper back like we did at the start when we had our fingers interlaced and we're pressing our hands out in front of our face. Keep on going, a couple more breaths. Set your own pace. Let your breath guide you. That is the key. Listen to your body. And try and connect down through the pads of the fingertips, down through the base of the knuckles, the index finger and thumb. Just making sure that you're not rolling out to the outer sides of the hands, but we're connecting in and harnessing the energy right up through the inner arms and up to our chest. Alrighty, how's that feeling? Those wrists might be getting a little sore. We're going to come down into a child's pose. Releasing the hips to the heels, bringing the forehead down to the ground. Now, if child's pose is not that comfy, blocks are good here. So placing one, if you need it, underneath your chest, and maybe one for your forehead. And just hanging out here. The idea of child's pose is that you can surrender into it, and you can release into it. So just making sure that the knees feel good, the ankles feel good, the body feels good. If you have access to a nice deep child's pose, go ahead, surrender down. If you need the knees to be wider, that is all good. Alright, not in child's pose too long. Coming back up. That was just to give our wrists a little rest. If they're tight, give them a little squeeze. Bring them up, squeeze them out. We're going to work some strength now into the back, into the core. So find your tabletop position. And rather than just kind of collapsing out here, breathe up. The ribs, breathe up into the back of the body. The belly is just slightly lifted. And that's more because you're thinking about your pelvis, the top of your hip bones, and your ribs trying to draw a line towards each other. So there's this little lift. And the core comes in. You're engaged to your core now. Let's lift our right leg and take it straight out behind. Now you want to lift it by using the strength of your inner thigh. And think about your big toe rolling towards your body rather than away from your body. So we don't want this hip to open up. We want to just let the inner thigh roll in so that our hips are nice and level. Press through the arms. This is going to build strength in your core. A good core is going to help that back pain. Breathe. If you need to take the leg down early, then go for it. Exhale. Release that leg. Let's do the other side. Extend out. Again, check in. Try not to roll that outer hip open. Lift from the inner thigh. Press through the arms. Draw up through the chest. And try and find that evenness through the weight distribution through the arms, length through the neck. This is a lovely pose to elongate the spine. It helps to activate those glutes. Good strong glute muscles mean that we're not relying on our hamstrings and our back muscles so much. Release. Let's do it again. Inhale, take it up. Length through the spine. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, take it up. Remember the ribs moving up to the back of the body rather than collapsing down. Exhale. Inhale it up. This time, gazing somewhere in front of you, getting a nice focal point. Finding strength through your right arm. Extend out through the left. So the right leg is lifted and the left we only have one left arm, is extending out in front of you. Again, try and have that line between the ribs and the hips. The ribs are moving up into the back of the body rather than down to the floor. Extend, breathe. Sunbird pose. Amazing for the strength in the legs, the glutes, the arms. It's got that coordination. It's got that length through the spine. Exhale. Oh, take it down. Other side. Left leg up, right hand out. Flex through the foot. Reach out, extend, exhale. Here we go with the breath. Inhaling up. Lengthen, exhale. Look for length all the way through the back of the neck. Exhale, inhale up. Exhale, take it down. Inhale up. Exhale, take it down. Inhale up. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, up. Reach. Exhale, down. Try not to let that hip roll open. Last one. Inhale it up. Exhale, down. Now you don't have to do as many as me. You can always come down into a child's pose whenever you like. We're coming down there now. Here we go. Release. Relax. Soften. Breathe. Take those rests. Let the body soften. And if it's more comfortable to just rest here on your forearms like me, you can absolutely do that as well. I'm resting here so I can talk to you. We're going to make our way onto our bellies. So coming down onto your tummies. And we're coming into Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath shoulders. Hands parallel. Sphinx pose is going to allow you to gently bring flexibility and strength into the back. It's really important that we work our back muscles as well as our core muscles so that we've got a good, even, balanced out body. Now don't collapse all the way down here. Press through those arms, draw the elbows back, lengthen through the spine. Elbows are drawing back towards your heels. Activate the Sphinx pose, see how it feels. If it's really intense in the low back there, hug the outer thighs in. Give yourself some support here. These kind of backward bending poses done in a safe way are really beneficial for any kind of herniated disc. Breathe into it. Just push the jelly back in. Forward bends, not so good. Exhale, release all the way down. Shake it out. Alright, now I want you to move your hands towards your chest, fingertips underneath the shoulders, elbows hugged in. We're not going to use our hands, we're going to start to build strength into our lower back. Connect the tops of the feet to the floor, connect the thighs and the pelvis into the floor, and actually hugging the pelvis into the floor is going to lengthen the lumbar spine and give you a little ease there, especially when we come up. When we come up, breathe the heart up. Now, if you are a larger chested person, you might already be up a little higher than me, and that's fine. See if you can lift like a millimeter or two higher so that you feel your back muscles moving. Working rather than moving. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come up. Maybe a little higher. Find length. Look for length through from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Don't throw your neck back. Exhale, release. Inhale, come up. This time we want to bring the hands in a little. Just a little, not too high. And you can draw those hands back towards you, draw your chest forward. There's a lot of weight in the arms, so if that's uncomfortable, it's all good. Just come a little lower, connect pelvis to floor, energize those legs. Exhale, come down. Okay. Now we're going to do a version of seal, up dog kind of hybrid to really open up the back there. So bringing your hands slightly more in front of you. Basically like you're in your Sphinx pose again, and think about engaging into the upper back muscles. We're going to inhale, press up, lengthen, press and lengthen. Exhale, come down. Again, do all of this with caution, listening to the quiet voice inside you. If it feels pinchy, if it feels painful, don't do it. If it's just a challenge because your muscles are weak, then rise to that challenge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come down. Inhale up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. My partner said to me I should have my cats in my videos, and she's decided the same thing. Exhale, come down, hey pussykins. Inhale, one more up. Oh, you're a good girl, Ali Bear. And exhale, come down. Release all the way down. What are you doing, Goose? Release down, rest on your belly for a few breaths. And then inhale. We're going to work a little bit more strength now into the legs and the back area. Locus, half locus. I'm just going to do our legs first. So you can watch it first if you're not familiar with it, and then rewind back to this point. Inhale, lift that, I got my left leg. Lift your left leg. Think about using the strength of the inner thigh. We're kind of lifting from the hip area. Release. Inhale, lift the right leg. And again, if your leg only lifts a little bit, you're still doing it. Love it. Exhale, come down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now we're going to bring the arm in, just like we did in Sunbird. Inhale, left leg, right arm, and my chest. Length. Think about length through your spine. Try and lengthen your tailbone to one wall, your crown to the other. Exhale, come down. Inhale up the other side. Length, length, length. Exhale, come down. Inhale up. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, come down. Last one on each side. Inhale, take it up. Exhale. Sorry, I started on the other side, so that actually means one more set. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down. Inhaling up. And exhale down. Go ahead, relax. Turn your head to a side. Move your arms to a comfortable position. Wobble out the hips. Now your back muscles may be a little tender for a few days if you've never really used them. Just means that you're working them and they're starting to wake up. And with the stronger back muscles, you've got better support now for your back. All right, tap those toes. Bring your hands to your low ribs. If getting up like this doesn't work for you, get up, whichever way that helps. But I want you to start thinking about utilizing your core. So I want you to think about drawing your ribs, your hips towards your ribs and your ribs towards your hips. As you do that, you should feel your belly lift a little bit, even if it's like internally rather than externally. Our hands by our low ribs, if you can, tuck the toes, draw the ribs and the hips towards each other, press to those knees. So good. And then come into child's pose. Release, soften. This is a nice little counter pose for all of that backwards bending that we've been doing. Good work, everyone. It's been awesome. Release it down. Deep breath. See if you can find the breath into the back of your body. So try and breathe up into the top of your ribcage, into the back of the ribcage there, feeling the body expanding and lifting slightly with the inhalation. And as you exhale, feel the belly excavate. Feel the belly come in, giving you more space to get into that child's pose. Remember, use those props if you need them. You could also use a bolster for a lovely child's pose. Yeah, this one. This is always a good place to release and relax in as well. Let's breathe into it. I just got these bolsters today. They're actually just bolster covers with blankets in them. So hey, you can make your own. Easy peasy. Just get a towel, roll it up. Stick it in a pillowcase. Let's come onto our backs. We're going to finish off the practice and then I'm just going to give you some bonus ball stuff for later. So you just come onto your backs. Knees can be bent. Hug those knees in if you can. If twists feel good for your body. You can extend your arms out to the side, and I'm just going to turn this way so that I've got some space for my arms. You can either draw the knees in nice and close and drop them down to the side, or allow them just to be hip width, hip height, and drop them down for there as well. The closer the knees are to your body, the bigger the stretch in the lower back. The closer the knees are, the lower the knees are, the bigger the stretch in the upper back. So just find a place that feels comfortable for you. And of course, if bringing those knees all the way to the floor is no good, just bring them to some blocks or some bolsters, because we want to try and have our shoulders on the ground rather than our knees, but we don't want to do it by wrenching around through the back and through the joints in our pelvis at the back there. So just find what works for you. And remember, those things will change over time as your body changes and responds to the love and care you've been giving it. All right, bring those knees back up. Drop them over to the other side. Again, choosing what kind of twist you want. Release, you can gaze over in the opposite direction. You can gaze up. You can even gaze in the same direction. There are no hard and fast rules here other than soften, relax. Try not to wrench yourself into a twist. Bring those knees back up, coming into Shavasana. So, corpse pose, traditional corpse pose, taking the feet down, feet up. Mat width is a good guide as long as they're wider than your hips. Arms out from your side, palms facing up. However, as this is one about lower back issues, then actually either just resting with your knees bent or placing some support, some blocks underneath the knees will help give you that comfort. And again, if you've got the love bolster, zoop, just allow your body to get comfortable and surrender and soften. And just give yourself up to your breath. Notice that breath gently rising and falling through the body. Allow the whole body to soften, the whole body to relax. Stay there if you're enjoying Shavasana. For some of you, if you prefer not being in Shavasana, it can be quite a vulnerable position for some people. So if you'd like to come up to a wall instead, and you can watch this later if you're already pretty happy, comfortable in your Shavasana. If you're not, come with me to the wall. And the best way I found to get up to the wall is sit really close to the wall on the side and then I'll roll my hips up from there. If you haven't quite made it, you can inch closer, closer, closer. Now, for some of you, especially if you've got those tight legs, that tight back, this is going to be a little bit intense. So having a bolster just underneath the back, underneath the hips, allowing the hips to relax and soften, will ease out that tightness and that discomfort. You can rest here. You can rest in a little reclined butterfly as well. You can use these anytime you like, especially if you've been on your feet a whole lot. You can also rest with the legs out wide on the wall. I run out of wall there, but again, this is going to open up the inner thighs. This is going to open up the hamstrings. This is going to open up the hips and the inner thighs. So just choose what feels good. This is called Viparita Karani, the ultimate rejuvenator. Let's all of the circulation come to your big organs in the body. So let's just choose the final relaxation we want to be in. Just close your eyes, tune into your breath, and just be with you. Do you for right now. Hey, Ellie. Now you can stay here for the rest of the day if you like. Or if you feel like it's time to get up and get on with the day, gently roll back to a nice, comfortable position. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this practice helps you a lot. If it does, leave some comments down below. Let me know. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you didn't like. Let me know what else you would like to see, and I'll see what I can do. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.